Shot by and still I'm too geek for the guy. Yeah, whoa, I've been in the house, but I'm coming outside tonight. Drink so sexy, there's nothing that I wanna keep on the side. Yeah, I love how you always be speaking your mind. I feel things, baby, but lately I'm feeling things deep inside. Oh, river. It's your front, you're behind, you're sweet.
So we're leaving my parking garage, right? But I want to see if I'm going to pass by one of these. So like there's just so many different levels that you can hit in life. And basically in my building, it's obviously one huge parking garage, but they sell actual like garages with inside of the building. And they tried to sell me one. Somebody wanted me to buy it from them. And bro, for what it costs, I want to see if we'll pass by one. We already passed by one up there, but I don't know if there's any more down here, which this. So for you to buy one of these garages where you could park your car, it's literally like a garage within inside a garage, $800K.
800K?
800K.
An SVJ.
An SVJ just so you can have a garage inside of your own parking garage. 800,000. And obviously people have the money to buy them. I mean, bro, the penthouse here is $50 million. Like a really, really nice unit here. Like, well, I mean, the units start here like at, I think for like a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, or not even like a studio is like, for rent, like $8,000 a month. So, I mean, it goes to show you. Look, another SVJ we just passed by. Actually, it's the Zinger and the F12 Comp, which is sick. I don't know whose car that is, but I mean, it just goes to show you how many levels there really are in life. You know, somebody's dropping 800K on an SVJ, somebody else is dropping 800K on just a garage. ¿Cómo estás? Gracias. Te veo pronto.
Another ore farm.
Yeah, this part of leaving is petrifying. Look, it's like a straight. You just.
Well, you go 95 G's in debt right now. Wow.
Perks of driving a monster truck, huh? But I ended up basically losing $30,000 just today alone. So I'm up 1 hour and or $10,000 for the week, which is not bad because it's not a red week, but I did miss out on some really great opportunities. So I actually have a challenge for all of my traders who are watching this right now, and I want to put something into perspective for you guys. I want you guys to open up a paper trading account with $5,000 in that paper trading account. Now, the objective is to grow that $5,000 into $15,000 in your paper trading account. So essentially make a $10,000 profit. If you could successfully do this, what I want you then to do is to go out to any prop firm, and I need you guys to gather up to 20 150K accounts. Because depending on the prop firm that you trade with, the drawdown rule that you have for the 150Ks will be $4,500 to $5,000, and that'll emulate the $5,000 that you put into your paper trading account. Then your only goal and objective from there is to make $10,000. So if you have 20 accounts being copy traded over a $10,000 profit over these 20 accounts, you just made $200,000. You made multiple 6 figures doing the same exact thing that you were able to do on a paper trading account. The only difference is now you're putting a little bit of money up front, which, I mean, it depends on the prop firm you go with. I mean, if you go with Apex and you just trade 20 accounts on Apex, that's gonna be probably around, it's gonna be like $80 an account. So call it $1,600, give or take. And then to actually activate those funded accounts, you're gonna look at another $1,000, give or take. And I'm just throwing kind of like rough numbers out there. So it's gonna cost you $2,800 to get 20 accounts funded. And then from there, if you make $10,000 on each account, you just make $200,000. You literally just like 1,000x your return, which is really the objective here. So again, if you could do that on a paper trading account, you guys could do it on a funded account as well. That's really all you got to do to make a really great living trading. And you don't even need to put up your own money nowadays anymore. Thank you. It's not that loud, but yeah. That's the max. Unfortunately, I have no haircut, so I got the hat on today. But it's fine. The Bugatti, like, it balances out. You know what I mean? We gotta get a quick launchy in, bro. I'm gonna activate launch control. Damn, and you know they told me at Bremen today too. They're like, yo, just don't drive the car too hard. You got a nail in the tire.
Wow.
You know, since I bought the car, right, the previous owner, like, bro, that guy is a billionaire with like tons of Bugattis and shit. So he barely drove this one. I think he like when I bought it, it was like 1,000 miles, right? I'm the one who put all the miles in this car. I know in the next few days, weeks probably, I'll probably say maybe next month, I'm gonna need a fat ass bill to replace all of my tires. But that's gonna be like an easy $25,000 bill.
Wow.
Easy. Actually, no, I'm capping. Because the rears, I had to replace both of them, and it's a brand new fucking tire, bro, which sucks. And to replace both of them was like $7,500, which is it's not terrible. I mean, it's expensive as fuck, but I mean, maybe like 15K for all four. So it's definitely not 30,000 bad, because you know, if I had a Veyron, it'd be 30 G's for all tires. But at least look at it this way: I could put the remaining 15K into a really smart investment like Nvidia, or what I could do is put the 15K into Roobet, double it, free tires, and then I could put that money into Nvidia.
Wow. That's the real play.
You see?
Right there.
You gotta think like an investor entrepreneur. That's the type of mindset you need.
Cut to the clip of him losing the 15K. And having to pay for the tires.
And then having to pay for the tires on top of that.
And Nvidia going down.
Bro, imagine.
Wow.
It's like a triple whammy, bro. All right, guys, so before we get to the warehouse, we got to do a quick cigar break. We actually have a meeting. We're going to be meeting up right now with the Chief of Operations for T8 to discuss a few things before the actual launch, because the thing about it is I'm not looking at this as a business that's going to be short term or that we're going to sell in like 2-3 years. We actually had leveled up for, man, I would say it was a solid 4 years before we decided to sell the company and exit the company. So that way we can move into the futures market, because especially for connectivity purposes, we don't have to deal with certain slippages. We don't have to deal with certain liquidity providers like in the CFD market. So like the long-term vision with T8 really would be to have not only like a retail prop firm online that's successful as the current prop firms that you see, but my goal, you know how sick it would be to actually have a trading floor here in Miami, either in a crazy office in like Brickell or our own building, and we just have actual traders trading our capital from the company at the office. That would be my long-term goal, especially like order flow ES and NQ traders. That would be my long-term goal, which is why I'm doubling down on my education, helping people get into order flow more, and then also shifting into the future side of it. So then it's kind of like I'll be able to mentor somebody, help them grow, and then give them money so then they can make money on their own and also make me money at the same time. That's like the long-term vision and goal for T8.
Mother on that beat. Oh.
Yeah, the throttle's sensitive.
No, it's the car's ridiculous. What are the odds of 2 turbo cars?
No. We should have taken off the bumper on this.
Nah, it's insane.
It's pretty nasty.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty nasty. Just look at it,
Why
bro.
they even wanna envy me? Filling their hearts with envy, and they going for an image. And I don't wanna image.
So besides doing all of the fun shit you guys see on social media, normally how I end up all of my nights, although I have a reservation to get to, is I review not only today's trades, but I also go over where I could have done better by simply looking at the positions that I took. And also what I want to do and start getting into a little bit more is looking at NQ order flow. Now, I know when you guys hear the term like order flow, I know a ton of you guys are like, oh bro, it's so complicated, you change your strategy, blah, blah, blah. It's not the case. What I'm doing is reading real-time data between the buyers and the sellers. Like one of the trades that I ended up taking today was down here inside of this range at 67.88, where if we look at this area here, this is where ideally we started to see larger buying and selling start entering the market. So I'm going to draw a rectangle here, and you can see where this large buyer and this large seller came into the market before this was a low volume node that also coincided with this previous high. So I actually had someone, which I guess people like try and find different ways to be like, oh, but it could have been this instead. And someone was like, oh, you could have just said like that was a break and retest. Well, the point of a break and retest, it could be like the foundation of the overall idea behind the trade. It's like if you take every single break and retest you see, you're gonna probably have a win rate in between 40 to 50% from historical data. And the thing about it is when you look at simple setups like a break and retest and you use order flow to actually back that specific setup, not only are you going to increase the probability of that trade, but you're also going to be able to find different ways to enter that position without getting faked out. Because if we actually look at this situation here where somebody could be like, yeah, you know what, Raul, that was actually a break and retest. If you actually see this here on not only cumulative volume delta, but if we also look at this from only a price action perspective, typically the entry would have been somewhere inside of this area. Let's just say after this bullish variation, you're going to get an entry roughly around this area right here. And then you're going to set your stops roughly under this low. So not only would this trade have not played out by the time you would have taken the position, you would have actually had a stop loss before price actually ran all the way to a potential take profit. And then let's also put this into perspective. We're in all-time highs, and we're in that type of situation where price is at all-time highs. So if we actually look at this, the R multiple is probably not even a 2-to-1, it's probably a maybe 1.3 to 1.4 R multiple at most. So this is like a price action entry, break and retest. Now, if we use order flow confirmation behind it, and instead of looking to enter right at this high, but we wait for price to actually dip back down into where this large buying and these larger deltas are in the markets, not only would we have waited for the actual entry itself, but we would have avoided getting a stop in this situation here by waiting for price to get down into this large buyer and into where this low volume node actually was, because the low volume node was in this area here, along with these larger deltas. It's not really like an outlier, these deltas, but it's definitely something to take into consideration. Now, looking at the specific order flow confirmation, this is going to be an absorption reversal setup on a break and retest. So not only did we break the highs, but we reclaimed above where this buying initially got kind of stuck here, and then we actually saw price push back up. But if we actually look at this, price dip back down into this area, you could see on this dip, this is going to be cumulative volume delta. So basically, this is not a price action chart. What this is showing us is the volume, the total volume executed on the bid or the ask. So think about these big red candlesticks as aggressive selling, these big green candlesticks as aggressive buying. Look at how aggressive the sellers got on this little move down. Like the entire consolidation range that we had here, this is where sellers got most aggressive. And you can even see by this large red bubble here that this is where a large seller tried to enter the market, and immediately that large seller was absorbed by passive buyers on the order book. So for me, the real entry in this situation would have been right above that large selling after the confirmed absorption. The stop loss would have been just right under this low, literally like a tick under this low here. And then the take profit, we can have the take profit just be the highs. Now look at the difference between the entry, the stop, and the R multiple. I mean, you're talking about this is potentially a 4R multiple on this move by just simply adding order flow data and really combining price action and order flow. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And like I actually said before, I've been trading for roughly around 9 years. It'll be 9 years in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks in October. And even me, I'm humble enough to say, you know what? I don't know every single thing inside of the markets. And if I could find a way to increase my edge, I'm going to continuously seek to increase my edge and really increase my performance in the markets. And if I found a new way to get a better understanding of the markets, then I'm going to study about it. I'm going to read about it. And if I can find different ways to implement that into my trading, I will. And I'm always going to have that mindset, because when you stop having the mindset of, you know what, I'm good, I know everything, that's when you stop growing. And the thing about it too is I didn't really even change my system at all. I just added order flow for better levels and better conviction behind these trades, using order flow to actually back the thesis and give me a higher probability on those trades. And it's like the same thing everybody says, you know, well, everybody, and that's been in my community, has said, it's like when you first get into order flow, that's when you can't ever stop trading without order flow, because it just gives you a whole new view into the markets. And even like over here at this high of day, you could see how much buying came into the market here at this high of day and how much the sellers were aggressively selling the market here at this high of day, to the point where they actually did achieve a new low, and we actually did see a big sell-off in the markets. And just looking at cumulative volume delta, but it's like, you don't have to start with something as complex as like the footprint chart. You know, you could start with something as simple as a volume profile and large trade indicators, where you see, hey, you know what, we're at support. We see the sellers are getting super aggressive at the support range where we saw previous buying step in, and we see a large trader that got absorbed. That's a high conviction, a high probability setup for a reversal. It's just like, start off small, but get into it. And more importantly, you're going to get a better vision as to what's really going on inside of the markets. The one thing you do have to remember is that price action is actually an indicator for order flow. The reason why price moves in the direction that it's moving, why price goes up, why price goes down, is because of the order flow that's coming into the market. So if you can interpret that, I just showed you right here a setup that you would have taken with a regular break and retest versus an order flow back break and retest. You're going to decrease the size of your stops, increase the size of your reward, and then on top of that, increase the probability behind that setup specifically. So anyways, I'm going to study a little bit for the rest of the night, go over some of my, go over a few more of my trades that I took this week and today specifically, that I'm also going to be looking at NQ as well, because I haven't traded NQ in quite some time, and I want to see if maybe I could implement NQ, because I'm not really finding like too much trade frequency that's at least quality on ES. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night until my reservation, and then that's kind of the reality. It's just a lot of work is what it is, which I actually did a lot of the review in the afternoon, but I'll catch up with you guys in the next one.